Behind the Shades.
Confidence, I think, for many of us, is through our clothing, how we present ourselves, as you mentioned. Um, can it be difficult, maybe at times, to help women find the confidence in themselves and then present it through what they're wearing?
Absolutely. We have probably decades worth of media, family, friends kind of in our brain. It's almost like breaking that up and breaking that down into its pieces and kind of pulling out the golden nuggets and then building that person back up. It is a process, as interesting and as weird as it may sound for someone who helps people redo their wardrobe, but it's very, very deep. And it's uh yeah, I mean, if we think of all the things, I'll just give an example. So when I was younger, um my parents are fairly conservative and I was raised conservative. My dad was military 30 years, went to Vietnam twice, like super conservative. And um and had a certain image that he wanted to present. And as I got older, I really loved the color black. And I wasn't wearing black lipstick or any. I wasn't like going, goth like 90s. That's when I was in high school, late 90s. Just really liked black. That's just like what I felt good in. And he always kind of had something to say whenever I would wear black, and it was always negative. And like it made me bad, or it just had a negative connotation to it. And so I had that in my mind. Well, as I got older and I became a director and I was directing for a school, like I loved wearing black. Like I just loved representing like that director part of me, right? And that's like classic, like you wear black. And I had to but when I looked in my wardrobe, there was hardly any black, because I had that in my mind that every time I went shopping, I avoided that and I tried to get color. So I had like, a million items and they were all super bright and colorful, which was not me. And I didn't know how to dress myself, and I would put these things on and I didn't really know how to like wear those colors, and I didn't even really like them. And so it kind of just, I just didn't feel good about myself. And so I think that that we have to, as women, we have to, or men, anybody, break you had to break the person down, and you got to really like get rid of all those like preconceived notions and get to the heart of who they want to be, and then you kind of add that stuff back in. And that can be just really difficult, but it's necessary. I feel like I kind of repeated myself a little bit.
No, that was helpful because my closet can probably use some of that guidance right there. But I understand. I know when I spoke to a few people in regards to wearing the color black, they felt that it was comforting. They felt like safe in it, right? So when I look at my closet or when I look at what I'm wearing, I own very little black, because I think they call it shades, right? I own very little. I just love the bright colors. I love the red. I love the blue. I love the orange. But when I look at some of the colors, even though I love them, like to own it, wearing it is a totally different conversation. So how do you, like, let's say, for example, me, or if there's anyone else that's like me, how do you get someone like me from the point where they love these colors? Now, how can they love wearing those colors?
Right. So it's going to be, and this again goes into some really like deep rabbit holes that, but essentially, like in the course that we help people to find out what colors look best on them. And it's not, here's what I'll say. When you see people who are like color and analysts or whatever they call themselves, where you'll see like on Instagram and they have the different, like, have you seen that, where they have the different color scarves and they like remove them, and the girl's like, oh, So
I've
for
seen
me,
those. Looks cool to me.
it looks super cool.
Yeah.
I think the thing is that for me, I would rather teach someone how to do that themselves and know, so they know to, I'm not just saying like, these are what your colors are, but I'm like, let's go through this and discuss. I wouldn't go as deep as to say like, we're going to be discussing color theory, because that sounds really boring, but essentially there are certain colors that we may love, but when we put them on and they are reflected up to our skin tone, they do not look good. I love a lot of colors. I do. I obviously love black, but like, there's this particular store that I love to shop at, and if I could buy everything in there, I totally would. But in that store, there is this shade of green that I love so much. And I wish that I could wear it. But when I wear this particular shade of green, I look ill, like I'm about to throw up. Like I just cannot. And I think that it's one of those things where you're just like, I can't wear that color, but I really love it. And maybe I could have it on an accessory, or I could use it somewhere else, but it's just not going to be something that I'm wearing like as a shirt, because it makes me look a certain way. So, and I will say that I think that style for men is really important. And I don't think that I'm a super expert on style for men in a certain way, but I went through a huge transformation with my husband, just like maybe a month ago, and updating his style, completely changed the way he is, his personality, his behavior, the way he holds himself. And then he ended up getting like some crazy 6-figure job. So like, I do think that it's important for everyone. And that is why it's just so vital that people feel really good in their clothes, because it can change just everything about you, the way that you feel inside when you're showing up the way you want to. And so when you were talking about color, you do want to wear colors that are going to look good with like your skin tone and all that stuff, because that's just going to make you feel so good. You know what I mean? And there are people who don't care about that, and they're going to wear whatever color makes them happy. And that's totally fine too. I think that like in my course, I really try to set boundaries around things where I'm like, or not boundaries, basically where I say, these are my opinions, but I want you to be a leader within your own wardrobe and the way that you dress yourself. Right. So if I'm telling you like, hey, I don't think that yellow may not be super complimentary to your skin tone, but if you want to wear it, then wear it. If it's going to bring a smile to your face and it makes you feel confident, then whatever I say about your skin tone, like, does not matter. Like, who cares at that point? So, there are people who just love, like, I follow so many different people who there's one girl I follow and she thrifts, and she has a ton of bright, colorful outfits that are like 80s, and like, they are a true vibe, and she just loves that so much. And so it's like, awesome. Like, you do you, you know?